Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
So apparently I'm a risk now because I talk. They have manipulated and controlled everything I've done my entire life. Everyone I've ever known, everything I've ever done, has been manipulated and controlled by them. And they call me the risk. If they didn't keep doing stuff to me, then I wouldn't talk about it. I just want to be left alone to live my life. I'm not a risk to anyone. I've never hurt anyone, and I never would. Yet these people have poisoned me, tried to kill me, controlled and manipulated my life since I was 13. And who knows, even younger. These people are the real risk. Just think how different my life might have been if these people hadn't targeted me from a young age and done all of these things to me throughout all these years. And when I start to talk about it because they won't leave me alone, they threaten to kill me. Why would you do this to someone from their childhood and all through their adult life, and then have the gall to call them a risk when everything I've done or been part of has been because of them? These are the truly dangerous people, not me. Just leave me alone. For once, let me have my own life. You are the reason I am the way I am. You have controlled and manipulated everything I have ever done. You are the risk, not me.
If you guys don't believe gangstalking happens, most people who claim it does are crazy, but you're dumb as F. Look at cow tippers throughout internet history. Chris Chan got gangstalked into deciding to Chris Chan his mom. If people find it funny to screw with you and you draw their attention...
Yes, I agree that it exists, unfortunately. I think it sort of happened to Terry Davis as well, and it is awful because he eventually committed self-termination. I think it is worse if the mechanisms that facilitate it make it more and more subtle and more effective because of that, to the point where it could be considered psychological or emotional abuse. It is then worse if a group of people do it in a systematic way, where some kind of feedback loop is established. Personally, I don't think the correct option is to fight that kind of thing back in super malicious ways either. Granted, if one is under so much stress like how Terry Davis was, one probably can't expect them to act on their best behavior from the get-go. They're miserable for a reason. That is why being on your best behavior, expressing genuine loving kindness and forgiveness, the best will be truthful though, etc., is an effective strategy, I think. This may couple with humor, but that can also turn out not so great.
Gang stalked for over a year. Connected many dots through the behavior and people I encountered. Also, one person I met in rehab who'd had the same experiences gave me confirmation and deeper insights. All helped me understand this. They are most likely useful idiots used by CIA. They are funded with meth and given ample opportunities to make money with it by getting it free or dirt cheap. Meth heads are up all the time and have nothing better to do. They are the perfect tool to use for such a thing. Why do they do it? My guess is multiple reasons. Keeping society on edge, experimentation of behavior, etc. The use of sound weapons and their effects, use of tracking apps and phones on cars, etc. The impression I got was it basically comes down to using society as their experimental playground, like they've always done. The plague gave them great opportunities to do it also. Pretty sure I got chosen through my online activity and railing at politicians about lockdowns and my views in general.
Looks like my probation officer is in on it as well. Basically, I started a course on Monday, and I notified my probation officer about the course back in November. Prior to the course, she said she would have to contact the safeguarding team at the college before I could start, which she said she would do. Started my course on Monday, and was told Monday evening that I can't continue with the course because safeguarding hadn't been done, and that it needed to be done through probation. Saw my probation officer yesterday, and she told me the police should have done it, and that she passed the information on to the police to do it. Which is very strange that the police didn't do, because I'm pretty sure that if she had that, they would, or as I suspect there are also corrupt police officers involved in this as well. I also asked if safeguarding had been done for another place. I go and she told me yesterday that yes, it had been done, and they were aware. Just spoken to someone from this other place. And they are just said they haven't been told anything either. So my probation officer lied to me twice about doing safeguarding, which she hasn't. There is corruption in the West Midlands Police, the National Health Service, and probation services. They are glowies and probably gang members.
What counts as gang stalking? I usually exist like I'm invisible in public, but I had some random altercation with an unhinged golf dad out of nowhere recently.
I would say it's when you go out of your way to keep to yourself and avoid others, but a predictable pattern of interactions with people who seemingly go out of their way to inconvenience you starts to emerge. Like at a job where you work with hundreds of people, but only one or two of them keep crossing your path every 15 minutes, and it's always the same ones every day.
Gang stalking begins when a semi-public figure is defamed in some way and induces rage of various vigilante groups, official and unofficial political parties, etc.
I don't have video evidence. I did think about recording people, but that could be used against me. With all the things that have happened to me, though, I can prove these people have been messing with my life and they have tried to kill me. They poisoned me and had to go to the hospital for that. They came into my property and injured me. Can't prove that, but I woke up one morning and my left pec was all bruised and I could barely move my arm. This took over a week to heal. They have done many things to me over the last few years. These people are just corrupt psychos who psychologically and mentally abuse people, stalk people, try to kill them, set them up with fake jobs, drug people, use V2K, deprive you of money and food, drive you to self-termination and many other things. I think they have been targeting me pretty much all my life, possibly from the age of 13, definitely from the age of 18. And they try to make me out to be some dangerous person even though I've never harmed anyone. Certainly never tried to kill anyone or do anything as bad as what they do to people, and they try to take some kind of moral high ground over me. They need to check themselves when trying to make me out to be the bad person after what they have done to me. They have probably done this to many people. They probably have killed other people. And yet they think they can judge me and make me out to be someone I'm not. I'm not even remotely close to how messed up these people are, and I'd never do anything they do to others. Don't care if you believe me or not. I know that is real. These people are the ones who are a risk to people. I'm no risk to anyone, and I never have been. Corrupt, sadistic, murderous scum. I just want to be left alone to live my life, but they just keep doing this stuff to me.
Now they are telling me to just drive away. I am not going to go anywhere. I'm not moving. Why are you so insistent that I move? What are you trying to hide by me living here? Seems like me living here is messing with something you are trying to hide, and you are worried about it.
Good stay, it's easier to watch you.
You can watch me all you want. Enjoy wasting your time obsessing over me 24/7 while I just go about my days as normal.
Not really stalking you if you consent to it.
I don't consent to you stalking me. I'm just saying enjoy wasting your time doing it. Seems like you need help for your obsession over me, though. I literally live in your head 24/7 rent-free. I need to pop out somewhere later. Bet you follow me to see me do literally nothing but walk there and back. Have fun obsessing.
Damn, that's some textbook projection, dude.
No, that is a fact. You obsess over me 24/7, watch everything I do, follow me everywhere I go. I bet you even think about me while in the bathroom. You probably even dream about me. You are here now replying to me on a Mexican taco stuffing forum, obsessing over me even more.
There's a fine line between extreme narcissism and delusional solipsism, and your schizophrenia has completely blurred it beyond recognition. That's all it takes to get you worked up. An anonymous post on 4chan.
I can prove these people are following me and messing with my life. It is not narcissism or schizophrenia.
Well, go ahead. Share with the class anon.
There is too much to post about, and I would have to go into a lot of detail to explain it all. But here is one of my most recent experiences. Monday morning, I caught the bus somewhere. At the bus stop, there are a couple of guys there who are identical twins. Anyway, I go to the place I'm going to and meet this guy who just so happens to have the same name as me. And whilst introducing himself, just happens to mention that he knows a pair of identical twins. The twins I saw also happened to go to the same place I go to. On Tuesday, I see one of the twins walking out of the room I'm in as I'm walking towards it. Yesterday, I saw one of the twins again whilst on my way to somewhere I was headed.
Have you not considered they live in the area? What are you doing in all those places, Anon? How do we not know you're stalking these twins?
Anon, do you not see how that is more than mere coincidence? I see a couple of identical twins. A guy who is on the same course as me with the same first name is there. Twins. Two different people, but with the same name. Twins. He also mentions randomly that he knows a pair of identical twins. I see one of these twins coming out of the room I'm in, which he had no reason to be there as he's not part of the group I'm in, or even in the same part of the building I'm in. Yesterday, I just happened to see one of the twins again while I was going somewhere. This is the kind of thing they do to mess with me.
No, it's a complete coincidence. You've just trained yourself to obsessively find connections to things that are completely unrelated and hyperfixate on them and find a reason for them to connect. You happen to see people multiple times, so they must be following you. You meet someone with your name, and it's evidence, even though that makes absolutely no sense to anyone but you. You're lost in a delusion of your own making, and you can't even explain it to anyone in a way that makes sense. Please, for your own sake, take this as a hint and realize you aren't special enough for anyone to track any more than anyone else in the modern digital age.
Anon, whatever. You are probably one of them.
I'm so sorry you're like this. It must be miserable, but remember, you're doing this to yourself. You are your own worst enemy. You can't even consider you might be wrong, can you?
I'm not wrong. There are a lot of other things that I'm not going to post about here that have happened over the last couple of days.
Why would anyone care what you're doing, Anon? You stole something important? Can you even answer me why? You just keep saying it's complicated, but we're literally on 4chan. We both have nothing but time, and you know it.
Because some people are higher than others in this world. Part of a sub-society from birth. They target people in what they call a descent to hell, meaning creating a script and life around a target that looks like schizophrenia, paranoia, and psychosis. One of the first things they do once you speak out is gaslighting, funny, right?
It's not schizophrenia. I'm being targeted by a shadow organization, so you just want me to call you insane, right? Is this just a degradation fetish?
You can say what you want, but I have proof. I can prove these people are messing with me. Don't have to prove it by some random anon on 4chan, but there are a lot of people here who it is also happening to with very similar experiences. Go read through gangstalking threads in the archive, read the nobody threads. Lots of people from all over the world all experiencing the same kind of things. Coincidence? Not just here, but you can go look at other places about gangstalking, and you will also see many people from all over the world saying the same things. There are videos on YouTube from ex-senior government officers who admit that not only do these programs exist, but they were part of developing them. These are senior agents from MI5, NSA, NASA, CIA, and other secret services. These people wouldn't just make this stuff up. They were senior government agents working at the top level of these agencies with top-level clearance. Also, Edward Snowden is the most well-known of them all. He was a top-level NSA agent.
Gangstalking is a physical manifestation of a battle that takes place between higher dimensional beings. You are targeted because you have a powerful spirit, and they want the connection between you and your higher self severed. The gangstalkers try to get you to fall into alignment with their deity with or without their physical knowledge. They simply act on behalf of a higher negative conscious being. To fight it, you need to reconnect with your soul. As you do that, you will find allies to help you through it in the 3D plane and planes above as well. Stay true to yourself and ignore them as best you can until you find the strength to punch them right in the gut, or whatever your soul desires. Listen to your higher self. It's that voice in the back of your head. You have been ignoring it for far too long. Trust it.
Or hear me out. Stalking tactics used include 1. Illegal surveillance, bugs placed in home, work, vehicle. 2. Illegal wiretapping. 3. Illegal investigation of all personal and private documents, including medical and financial records. 4. Waves of criminal activity, including vandalism, poisoning, break-ins, theft, and sexual assault. 5. Hacking of all electronic devices. 6. Harassing phone calls, texts, and emails. 7. Redirects to gang stalkers when the target calls for help or assistance. 8. Organized harassment and stalking by law enforcement, private security firms, and ordinary citizens. 9. Being ostracized by entire communities based on slander and rumors, usually outright lies said about that person.
Yes, that is all done by cults and secret police. You must understand that everything that happens in this dimension happens up above at the same time. Just don't give them much energy. If you got their attention, then clearly you are doing something right. Don't give up and keep going. They will be screwed hard in the end, such is the cycle of life.
Thanks for your input. I just don't like the science fiction direction gang stalking threads often take, ignoring all the things they teach in counterintelligence schools that are real.
Science fiction cannot even compete with true workings of reality. All this CIA/NSA/CISP/secret police gang stalking stuff is just a campaign to psychologically break you, but it doesn't end there. There is always a deeper level to everything you see.
Gang stalking is not a thing. Stalking is a thing, but it's happening by specific people and to specific people. Zersetzung and surveillance abuse is a thing, but it happens to very special people, either as a form of political repression or because they can't use other means right now. You're thinking along the lines of WikiLeaks founder being harassed by the Five Eyes, not along with some guy being bullied. Yes, they're assholes, big ones, but they've got other people to harass. People who, upon being subjected to this sort of harassment, will do something which would benefit them. Your actions probably do not matter. On a grander scale of things, it does not matter if you live or die. All of this costs money, and money spent on somebody who doesn't matter is money wasted. It's big money, like 200,000 per one mission kind of money. But the entire budget for the quarter is like 10 million, so they don't get a lot of assholes for the money. From the perspective of economics, this does not make sense to recruit the entire town. Unless you're politically very active or otherwise clearly obstructing or harming the general direction of political things, the odds are you are not being subjected to this. Instead, what you're experiencing is persecution delusion. That might be due to paranoid schizophrenia or psychosis. You can get medication for these symptoms from your doctor or off the streets, in your town or outside it, whichever works for you considering your trust issues. When you do take this medication, it should mitigate the symptoms. It might not be effective if you take too small doses. The effect which you should expect is not feeling like somebody is after you. Since you have experienced this feeling for a long time, it will take a long time to get better. This means you will expect things to occur for some time even after taking medication.
Bro, you are missing the main and actual means of production. Meth. The three-letter agencies giving loads of meth to use and sell to meth heads. Give them a little spy job and free rein to do what they want. Bluetooth tech to drop on phones and cars. Headsets to maintain contact with each other on the roads. Man, I know the whole playbook, and I don't give a damn what assholes say because they still believe daddy government wouldn't do that. I had these assholes all over me for over a year. They also try to get you into bad situations on the road. I drove on Houston freeways for 20 years and laughed at their attempts. They tried every day. Can the detractors say that they've been involved in near wreck 3 or 4 times a week on the roads due to obvious maneuvers? How about just almost involved in a weekly wreck? No one is. Gang stalking victims are.
Man and I thought I was actually going nuts for a minute. Then I see someone else posting the same things from a bigger city a few hundred miles away. I've been writing down quite a lot of these first-person testimonies, and I've almost got it down to a science on how they do it by state. San Antonio here. Switched to my girl's car for a bit, and suddenly attempts on my life every single day stopped. I almost thought for 1 second that it was just idiots drunk driving and swerving, and that I was going nuts behind the wheel.
The first time I had a next-level experience, my douchebag neighbor said the words I was thinking out loud. I thought it could be the advent of alien tech or something like that. My spiritual teacher, Bashar, was an exceptional teacher, alien channeler, like 10 years ago, where his message all on YouTube videos was basically, if you don't vibe with something, you don't have to think about it for a second longer. Recently, in the past 5 years, his message changed to, follow your excitement. Follow and do your first thought. Recently, he was interviewed and the question was asked, what happens if you don't follow your excitement? And his answer was, it's lethal. So, I've tried many times and had many moments of basically, go to Thailand right now, go to Middle East right now and don't even put on your shoes. Walk to Tibet right now. Jump up and scream at the top of your lungs. I acted out numerous times around prompts like that and have not yet followed through in the important crucial moments. So that's where the gang stalking comes in. Daily and in the exact same inflection and tone, I get coughed at, I get sniffed at, I used to get yawned at. So the coughing and sniffing are the exact same regardless of where I am. I went to another state and random people made the same coughs. It's reminiscent of when my sister would cough at our smoking neighbors all the time. I think that's all I will share right now.
Why would the government prosecute itself? Why would any arm of the government prosecute itself? Best way to get revenge is to design a full-spectrum element of psychological warfare against the goons. Quietly mention they're worthless members of society within earshot but not directed at them, while staging your own efforts to undermine the government. Come up with your own plans. Don't trust any folks offering to help you. Feds incognito. Do your own thing. I like to warn their overseas enemies and give them suggestions on how to fight back. Oh, and be sure to get the government to waste even more finances trying to harass you. The more gangstalkers they have to budget for, the less they have to spend on everybody else. I estimate at a minimum my antics have cost the US government at least $4 billion. Oh, be sure to try to trigger trade wars and diplomatic spats. Always funny watching them lose another trillion due to an embargo.
You guys ever stop to think that some guy on the internet who watched some videos on the deep state and read some WikiLeaks articles isn't actually all that influential or important? Why would the government spend millions on tracking you? What would you do if you snapped tomorrow? How much influence do you really have? If the answer is next to none, then you aren't important enough to be gang-stalked. Gang-stalking is real, it's expensive, and it's reserved for people like foreign spies, celebrities, influencers, executives, politicians, moguls, etc. Trust me when I say you aren't important enough to waste that money on. At best. At best. Some NSA agent once a week has to sift your searches, posts, and messages, and that's if you're posting literal plans to commit terrorist acts. If the answer is next to none, then you aren't important enough to be gang-stalked. Target is not special. Coordination reserved for high-value targets, gain or loss. World power structure is undergoing major changes, retains targeted status through the changes. The only logical reason implies future gain and loss. Money or power towards to or through the target. Target is defiant, belligerent, abrasive, still retains targeted status. This eliminates possible motives like becoming a puppet. Money and power going through the target. Leaves only the distinct possibility of money power going to the target in the future. The logic is pretty clear. Only the specifics and temporal details are missing.
I've infiltrated a server where my gangstalkers congregate. They have normal discussions there as well, but it seems that recently they've started exchanging coded messages and sequences of seemingly random letters and numbers, or hidden in their normal conversations. From what I've gathered, it seems that I'm not their only target, and they seem to be harassing dozens or even hundreds of people. Some of them even work for the government or major tech companies. They jokingly claim to be part of a secret society that rigs elections and influences major corporations and governments, but I can't tell if they're serious or not. They have these huge giveaways to lure people in, but they're sketchy as hell. They sent a guy on some exotic vacation recently, with plane tickets and tons of pictures and shit as proof, and then nobody ever heard from him again. This place has some dark energy.
Gangstalking, the real gangstalking, not the ex-psyop kind which is meant to distract from real gangstalking, is used by large corporations to intimidate or harass individuals. By associating the gray zone legality of organized stalking via use of private detectives and other contractors with schizophrenic and paranoid individuals who believe they're being watched, powerful corporations and governments have effectively managed to condemn potential whistleblowers to insanity. It's a real thing, and targeted individuals are people who have information they intend to disclose which would pose a threat to the people who target them.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check out the Odyssey page in the description for a second archive of the channel's videos.
There's also a Rumble archive as a backup.